Number 1, the notes. I think I managed about 15 years of playing before I actually learned the notes. I didn't need to before then. I mean, I knew the thick strings. That was where I put my power chords in my pentatonic box. Anything else? Nah, I just read the tabs. This was just, nope. But then things got serious. There came a point where I knew if I was ever going to really make progress on the instrument, I had to learn the fretboard. I knew the thick strings, I needed to know where to put my B flat chord shape. So I created the same need on the other strings with note finding exercises until I could effortlessly find any note with the click of the metronome. The foundations were laid. Why didn't I do this sooner? You need to learn them too. And I'll show you in my free ebook, Fretboard Mastery. Number 2, understanding standard tuning. I cannot overstate how much this literally blew my mind when I was shown this. For one, because it was so flipping obvious. How hadn't I realized before? I'm talking about the third between strings 3 and 2. The guitar tuning is not regular. Think about it. From one string to the next working downwards, the distance between each one spans 4 alphabet letters. A fourth, except strings 3 and 2. This is 3 letters, G, A, B. A third. We'll come back to them in number 4. The difference between the third and the fourth is 1 fret. What that means is that chord shapes and other note patterns change as you move them down across the string set by that 1 fret. Chords and scale patterns that look completely different are in fact the same thing. Pentatonic and other scale shapes made perfect sense. And I was able to learn them so much quicker because I knew how to tweak them for strings 2 and 3. The rules here are, when moving a shape down towards the floor, any note moving from string 3 to 2 must be raised 1 fret. In the opposite direction, when moving any shape up towards the ceiling, any note moving from string 2 to string 3 must be lowered 1 fret. Number 3, linking octaves. Learning how notes link together with octave shapes really boosted my fretboard memorization. It also helped me understand how things like the cage system worked. Just quickly, an octave is 2 notes of the same name spanning 8 alphabet letters. Power chords taught me the octave shape between strings 6 and 4 and 5 and 3. Finally, understanding standard tuning showed me that these octave shapes could move across the other string pairs. 5th fret tuning taught me that the same note could be found 5 frets lower on the string below. That gave me another octave shape, 6 to 3, which again I could move across the other string pairs. Now I finally understood standard tuning. The magic was in learning how all of them linked together. Ready? 6 links to 4, 4 links to 2, links down to 5, links to 3, 3 links to 1, 1 jumps back down to 6, and the loop repeats. Every single note works in the same way. You just need to learn the sequence. 6, 4, 2, 5, 3, 1, 6, 4, 2, etc. Just before I give you my 4 and 5, let me know in the comments what's the one thing you wish you'd learned sooner on the guitar. Whilst you're down there, don't forget to like the video if you've enjoyed it so far. It really does help me out. Number 4, seeing thirds. This was huge for learning triads, sevenths, and their arpeggio shapes. I knew from noodling on the piano that you could make chords by skipping over keys. These were thirds, nice and logical on the keyboard, not so easy on the guitar. But with learning the major scale, I knew that a root to its third was 2 whole steps on the same string. This is a major third. Again, I knew that that third could be found 5 frets lower on the string below. And now, understanding standard tuning, I could take that shape across the string sets, always looking out for string 2. For a flat 3 minor third, everything was just 1 fret lower. But then I learned that, of course, chords are stacked thirds. Put a minor third on top of a major third and you've got a major triad. Switch that around and you've got a minor triad. Stack 2 minor thirds and you've got the diminished triad. And stacking 2 major thirds gives you the augmented triad. With that, I was effortlessly making triad shapes across the fretboard, either from a combination of thirds applying the rules of standard tuning and moving those shapes across the string sets. And knowing the notes, I could play any triad anywhere on the neck. But even better, I learned that you could combine horizontal and vertical thirds to make arpeggio patterns. And then, using the octaves, these patterns could effortlessly move across the string pairs, getting me from one end of the fretboard right to the other. And all this then worked for seventh chords too. And I'll take you through all of that in detail in my book, Arpeggio's Building Blocks. Things were really starting to come together, which led me to number 5, the chord-scale connection. Now, when I learned that scales can be derived from chords, that was it. My fretboard vision was complete. You see, open chords and the bar chords we can derive from them are visual aids for our eyes to see arpeggios, pentatonics, and 7-note scales. That minor pentatonic box had a chord shape behind it. And hidden in there were triads and arpeggios. And from that pentatonic box, I only needed to add another 2 notes, and I had every minor mode I could wish for. And I learned that I could do this for every single one of the octave-shaped link-ups. Each octave shape was derived from one of 5 open chords. And putting them in order presented me with Caged, the foundation of Guitar Blueprint, where you too can complete your fretboard vision and become the guitarist you've always dreamed of. Thank you for your time. Practice well, and I shall see you in the next lesson.